Today, we are going to learn and understand how to use appearance and actions to describe a person's character. This is what we call characterization. And we're going to learn specifically how to describe the appearance and the actions in order to make a character more vivid. Now, if you look at this sentence here, apart from telling you who Wai Ming and where he is, as well as what he is doing, it doesn't really tell you much, does it? It leaves you as the reader wondering, but never getting any answers. So either you continue to probe or you give up. But as good storytellers, we don't want to allow our readers to make a choice. We want to engage them. We want to hook them. And what we do, we paint a more vivid picture about our character. How can we develop our character? Now, here's a suggestion. Just by adding a few more descriptions, what does it tell us about Wai Ming? He sits in this old coffee shop. It's been there for many years. It's probably not refurbished. It's located under shabby and washed out block of flats. It's a pretty rundown estate. It's not been given a new coat of paint, left out of renovation plans. It's strange because in Singapore, HDB flats periodically get upgrades, but it's been abandoned. Why? On top of that, we know and learn that he has lived there all his life. In other words, this set of descriptions tell us his living conditions. Just by adding those descriptions, we can make all these inferences. So, by adding those details, his character starts to come alive. We've put more flesh to his character. We allow his character to emerge. Let's see how we can develop the descriptions about Wai Ming such that it tells us more about him and what is his background and personality. We will see how this is done by analyzing descriptions about his appearance and descriptions about his actions. Right, I will use two colors, okay? Descriptions about his appearance in orange and descriptions about his actions in green. Now let's begin. Wai Ming chose a table at the far end of the old coffee shop, situated just under the shabby and washed out block of flats he had lived all his life. Now, choosing a table at the far end is an action of his. Okay, and we're wondering, why does he want to remain out of sight? Does he have something to hide? Okay. He glanced furtively around the nearly empty place before he sat down. Now, this description seems to align itself with why he might be choosing a table at the far end. Why does he want to hide himself? Why does he want to keep himself unnoticeable or concealed? And moreover, he's glancing furtively. To glance furtively, this one has a negative connotation. It means that he's doing it very secretively. Alright, is he doing something suspicious? Okay, and he does all this before he sits down. Okay, just little details that we take note. It's an empty place. It is deserted, just like the estate he was in. It was left out of renovation plans, upgrading plans. Very unusual. Okay, and he doesn't really plonk himself down like we usually do, right? When we find a place in a crowded coffee shop. So all this very unusual behavior points to something very dubious happening, something very suspicious. Okay, but let's read on to see if these guesses of ours, all these speculations are correct. When the drinks attendant came, he hesitated before placing an order for a hot Chinese tea. Now, here we notice another verb that tells us that he's being very doubtful, very unsure about himself. And this is the word hesitated. Okay, why is he being so unsure? What is he so uncertain about? Okay, so we see that these descriptions are pretty consistent. They seem to be signaling to you something about Wai Ming's circumstances. Okay, is he hesitating because of being spoiled for choice? I don't think so, right? Because we learned that he's ordered the cheapest beverage, okay? And he does that before he pulls out Sarah's letter from his worn out satchel, okay? Who is Sarah? That leaves us wondering, okay? And he is donning this worn out satchel. In these two sentences, we see that Wai-Ming is probably someone who is poor. He doesn't have a branded bag or just something decent looking. He orders the cheapest beverage and he has a worn out satchel. It all points to the fact, alright, a very likely fact that he is poor. He has to buy the cheapest beverage because he is cash strapped. Okay, and what can we conclude about his personality and his background? He is poor, okay, quite desperate, in some sort of a financial struggle, perhaps. Okay, and his personality is one of being very timid, from how he hesitates and glances furtively, or he's feeling very insecure, not confident about himself. And so this is what we can gather about Wai-Ming, about his background and his personality. And although we haven't confirmed our predictions, but there's so many things that leaves us wondering about. This is where interest begins. You have learned how we can use appearance and actions, okay, to describe the person's character, and how that's a very powerful tool for characterization.